Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be showcasing my Minnesota native aquarium and showing you all the species, a little bit of an update on this tank because I know the last time I showed it was in my native fish tour. So I just wanted to show you a couple species that I have in this tank and show you what's been going on. So let's get into it. So this is my 55-gallon Minnesota native aquarium. All these fish were collected at the Nanfoot Convention, 2022 Nanfoot Convention in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Yeah, so species list right now, I have 3 spotfin shiners, 2 males, 1 female. That's my female right there. And the main way I can tell is when I first got these guys, it was during their breeding season, so the males were really colored up and this one was not. Also, females are a little bit smaller, as you can see. And I believe she was also gravid when I caught her, or pregnant. And I think she had her eggs, and I'm assuming these fish are egg scatterers. I'm not 100% sure, but now when I first got her, her belly was super round, so I'm assuming she had her eggs and they just got eaten by all the other little fish in here. But yeah, these guys are probably one of my favorites in the tank. Their males are really gorgeous, super fun fish. They're pretty widespread too. I know they're, I believe, partly invasive in the Missouri River here in Nebraska, and I've caught some in Niobrara State Park. They were little guys, not as big as these ones, but they're still really pretty. And next fish in here is my long-nosed dace. I have 2 of these. I started with 6, and there were times where I'm not proud of this, but I left the lid open up here after doing a water change or feeding or whatever, and they jumped out and died because these guys are quite the jumpers, and I feel really bad about it, and I haven't made that mistake again. But they're doing fine otherwise. I just have 2 now, but they're my favorite fish in this tank. I would say it's really close between long-nosed dace and the spotfin shiners, but I think the long-nosed dace take it. Excuse me. There's another one in here. Usually they're, you can't see because of the algae, but they usually rest right there. It was really cool seeing like all 6 of them resting in that corner. And one thing I should point out before I get too far into this, I am having a cyano issue with this tank. As you can see, I have cyano growing pretty much on all the rocks, and I know it doesn't look the best, but it doesn't affect the fish at all. So I'm just having to live with it, and every water change I try to get as much as I can, but you know, if you've ever had to deal with cyano before, it's not easy to get rid of. So the next fish in this tank is my log perch. I have 4 in this tank, and it's really cool because if you guys don't remember, I have a towel on here to keep the light from shining too bright, but I have 1 log perch down in my Missouri native tank, and that was sort of overflow from this tank because when I first stocked everything, it was like to the brim with fish, and I was like, I can't put any more in here because otherwise it's going to be overstocked. So I just have 4 in here, 1 down there. I have 5 in all. But it's really cool seeing all the behaviors with these log perch because you can see there's like aggression between these guys. I'm not sure exactly how to sex these, but I'm assuming the larger, more aggressive ones are males, and you'll see them flare up on each other. It's so cool, like that. And the common log perch are probably, in my opinion, the least colorful out of all the log perch, but they're still really cool. I mean, they're huge darters. I mean, yeah, for darters, they are huge. They're in the Persina genus, so they're separate from Ethiostoma. And most, I guess, Persina species are not usually bigger, but there are, like, the biggest darters are Persinas. So, but these guys are really fun. They're probably the most outgoing darters I've ever seen, and these are probably the best aquarium darters you can get. When I was collecting in Minnesota, we found a spot with a ton of log perch, and the people there that were a lot more experienced than me were telling me that like log perch are the fish for or the native fish for aquariums. Like they adapt super well, and I saw it like within the first day. I was already getting them on frozen foods, and they've just done great ever since. And you don't really have to worry about like fish being too food aggressive, because these guys are also extremely food aggressive and territorial, as you can see. I mean, I haven't watched this tank that much, but I think this guy's like kind of guarding a area. It looks like that might just be a male guarding his territory, but and then the last fish in this tank are my 4 banded darters. If you guys have been watching for a while, you know I used to have 2 males in here, and I did point out in my tour video that I have been having issues with them not getting enough food, and unfortunately the 2 males did die. But weirdly enough, the 4 females survived. It was just the males that died, and they are doing great. So I don't know exactly what was happening there. If it was just the males, they were a little bit bigger, so they needed more food and they weren't getting it. Because these are absolutely tiny, as you can see, and they're being completely left alone. It's just really interesting to see how well they're doing. But there have also been decreases in fish, as you can see. Not as many long-nosed days. Less banded darters, so maybe that could be it, because the long-nosed days were definitely very food aggressive too. But males get absolutely gorgeous. I'll show a picture of a male in breeding coloration. And then filtration on this, I have 2 sponge filters and power head. That's a AI Nero, I forgot the exact name, but it's an AI power head, and I can control it with my phone and all that. And then with plants I have Alodia and Vallisneria. Yeah, so I think I'll get some food and we'll start feeding these guys. So diet for these guys is mysis shrimp, spirulina brine shrimp, and bloodworms. And I just thaw it out in this little cup. And then I use this little syringe. Should have opened this before I started filming. I use this little syringe and I just squirt it down. I use that for all my fish, because this isn't just for this tank. I'll use it for the other tanks too. But as you can see, these log perch are very food aggressive. They're usually the first ones there. Just interesting to see that food aggression from darters, because you know you have issues like these guys where they're not getting enough. But I mean, with that little one, all it needs is that, and then it's like full. So as long as I make sure that they each get at least 2 or 1 little shrimps or bloodworms, they should be okay. But there's the other long-nosed dace. I'm not entirely sure what my sexing is on the long-nosed dace, but I believe this one might be a female just because it's more robust and compact, whereas the other one might be a male because of how long it is, and he's got a little bit more red on his mouth, because males in breed coloration have super red like armpits and super red mouth, like they have lipstick. And I'll show a picture of a male long-nosed dace in breeding coloration. But yeah, I love this tank. It's got a lot of cool fish. This is probably all I'm going to do for stocking wise. I want to move the banded darters out, but that would be a whole project getting those little guys out. And I don't really have anywhere to put them right now, so as long as they're doing okay in this tank, which they are, I'll probably just leave them. And I would really love to breed log perch, but I have no idea how to do that, so this is going to be like a squirt. Also, I feel like I have a good chance of breeding spot fin shiners, because I feel like she's already had eggs in here, and the males did get colored up in the aquarium. like breeding colorations, so I feel like that gives me a good chance to get babies, or actually not babies because all the fish would just eat them, but seeing some of that breeding behavior and being able to share it with you guys. So yeah, these banded darters are fun. So I'm pretty sure this one is a female, but it does have a lot more coloration, but it could just be it's the dominant female or something. Because usually males don't have that mottling, and they have a lot more pronounced stripes than that. So, because it might just be an age thing too, because you can see this younger female is very brown, whereas these two older females are more green. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.